Welcome to the Mischief. I'm Vallen, and this is Particle Man. So what is Particle Man? Particle Man basically will make you kind of like Thanos from like the version in like Fortnite or something. I know it sounds kind of crazy, but it is a really fun mod. I have to say it's a lot of fun, and it's made by Crosus. So how does it work? First, you make this particle glove, and it's actually a relatively simple and cheap recipe. A few cows have to fall to your blade, but otherwise you get yourself this glove. And then you can equip it. You can put it in your offhand as well, and it'll work just fine. So that will mean that you can have things like other weapons in your main hand for attacking and whatnot. But otherwise, you can still use it as a weapon as well. Now, by itself, it's not going to do a lot. So let me grab a volunteer. Let's put a cow down, and you can see that it has 5 hearts of health. I punch it, it has a half heart less. So it's no big deal, right? Right-clicking does nothing. You have to fill it. If you look down next to my meter down there at the bottom, you can see that there are like 3 little bars to the right. Those are your different powers. You have the power of redstone, the power of lava, and the power of water. Each one has different abilities, benefits, bonuses, and so on. So, how to harness these? Well, first of all, redstone. You can't get anything from the ore. You can't get anything from the block. You have to get it from a piece of redstone that's been placed on the ground in order to harness it. But let's start with lava, because that's the first one on the list. So if I right-click any kind of lava, you'll start hearing this noise, and you'll start seeing that little meter down at the bottom start getting bigger. And I get a whole bunch of lava on there, which is really cool. So now, since that is highlighted, I can choose to shoot little flamey things out. Now, I currently have it set so that it's not going to injure any kind of friendlies, for the most part. I mean, if you add in some mods, sometimes a friendly might actually be hostile to you. But you can see that the flames actually came back to me. Let me shoot these off, and you can see that this will slowly come around. They might actually catch on a block now and again, but these particles will come back and replenish your meter. So you can see I'm shooting a whole bunch of them. Yes, they make lots of crazy noise. Most of my meter there disappeared, and then these all come back and the meter refills itself. So this is kind of a cool mechanic where it will replenish its own use. And you can do this with more than one, of course, obviously. As I was showing you before, you have water. So therefore I can fill up a bunch of water. And redstone, like I'm right-clicking on those, nothing happening. I'm actually shooting the little fire out. But if I click on the redstone itself, I can start harnessing the power of redstone. And basically, you're taking the particles of these 3 items and using them to your own benefit. So right now, with the lava enchant, oh, and you'll probably notice that my hunger meter has 100% just like dropped considerably. This is something that while you're harvesting these things, you'll notice that the hunger drops very fast. So yeah, and you can only harvest so much. It's not going to allow you to starve yourself to death. So make sure that you eat up and you keep yourself full if you want to be able to get the powers of well, amazing stuff. This is just really good. Okay, so what else can we do? We can, using lava, flame shoot, right? Not a problem. It goes out a certain distance, doesn't do a lot of damage, but it does hurt some enemies. Let me actually bring out, let me make it nighttime and bring out some more volunteers. All right, so it is now nighttime. I have some zombie spawn eggs here. So if I put one down, I can shoot this guy, set him on fire, do a bit of damage, and he dies, right? Not too bad. I mean, you can see these guys have some health, they have some armor. They're set up with the Crosus's other mods. Right now I have like his weather mod in here and the zombie awareness, so they're a little bit more interesting than your usual vanilla stuff. But also, they work really well with the particle effects. If it starts getting like windy and stuff like that, with the weather mod you can start seeing the particles get affected and blown around. And all those noises are a bunch of zombies being notified that I exist and are wanting to come at me. So, I'm going to want to protect myself. There's another ability, and that is the shield ability. And this works for all 3 of these types. And that is if I press the default key for it. In this case, it's on L. I used up all my lava ability just now. And I have this massive swarm of fire. It's beautiful. So therefore, anything that gets too close to me is pretty much just going to die. But it doesn't move perfectly with you. it flows with you, sort of like the wind, so you can like bounce it around a bit. Now, let's say that I've got this with me, but I want to get this out there to get them. I can launch it out by hitting sneak, aiming at the ground, and then right click. Now, of course, sometimes it will take a second. There we go. Launch it back out again, so you can shoot your shield out. Now, your shield will only last, oh, I don't know, maybe long enough to do a bunch of damage to some mobs, and as the particles get destroyed. If the fire particles run into water, they just end. They disappear. And this skeleton over here is actually kind of really annoying me at this point. So let's see if I can get over here. Oh no, I'm out of power. So let's switch it over to redstone and shoot this guy with some redstone power. You have knockback with this and a decent amount of damage. As before, it doesn't hurt any kind of passives, but you can use it to just launch guys around that are nearby, just constantly shooting a wave of these things around. As well as, same as before, you can do the shield just by pressing that button. I can launch a whole bunch of shields out. Usually just one shield is very small, but in this case, boom, you can just launch it out. So if you're surrounded and stuff, it's really good. You can just sit there and go AFK for a while. They last for maybe like 5 or 10 minutes. It's pretty impressive. But once they hit a bunch of mobs, then, you know, they will slowly start withering away. Now, what does the last one do? The last one grants you a certain form of flight, as well as defense. As before, let's go out into this mode here, so you can see the shield. I press the L key, I believe in this case. It will allow me to start putting out some of these ones. I'm not going to use all of it. There you go. I'll put out several shields. And as before, I aim at the ground, sneak, and I can launch those out as well. Really cool. And I can use these to fling them at enemies if I want, but it doesn't really work that way because, I mean, there we go. I can do this and it will just push enemies away, doing a little bit of damage maybe a tiny bit, but it's really for escape. I can use this to fly just by holding the button. It uses up some power, and I'm actually relatively safe from damage. Let's actually eat a little bit of food because I've been getting shot by skeletons. So by aiming at the horizon line, I will shoot up. And you can see I didn't take any fall damage at all. In fact, let's aim at the horizon line. There we go. And you can see here, I'm going up. I actually have particles around me, and boom. Even if you run out of power, you're still going to be safe from that. Now, if I aim forward or down, it launches me kind of forward. To give you an idea, there's this in front of me, right? So if I aim up, I actually go backwards, which it's easiest to see something like this. You know, and the reason I'm showing you this is because this is how you're going to maneuver. If you want to start flying forwards, you got to kind of aim 45-degree angle down, but you need to get some height, so you're going to want to aim a little bit up. And you can like slow your descent if you want, taking care of these guys and so on. And then of course you can just switch out to something a little bit more damaging, take these guys out as well. And if you wanted to go even further, let's actually go on a chase. Oh boy, that kind of hurt a bit. Let's have some food. Oh gosh, all right, maybe I'll regen first and then I'll come after these guys. So yeah, now that I've recovered by basically going into like non-survival mode so that I can get over here and away from the mobs and show you a little bit more. You can actually use this for direct damage as well. Let's go over here, drop down a zombie, and poke it with a particle glove. You see it does a bit of damage, like maybe a heart here and there. He's actually armored. If I switch over to lava, I will set him on fire and do a decent amount of damage as well. Several hearts worth, in fact. And then if I switch over to the redstone, again, I also can do, there we go, a decent amount of damage and a big knockback effect. There we go. And the only reason he caught on fire is because I threw him into the that lava there. But anyway, it's just really cool. I mean, you can actually have, let me grab a little bit more lava. You can actually have several of these effects going on at once. So let's do some shields of redstone, shields of water, shields of fire, and then I can run around with this in my offhand and an axe in my right hand, so I can have some shields that I shoot at my foes. I can also shoot at guys with this in my offhand, and if any of them get too close, I could feasibly swing my axe at the same time just by switching. Very strong, very, very strong. Now, as before though, once all the little bars down here run out, everything pretty much will stop. Your shields will still keep going until they've been used up, which is pretty cool in itself. Nothing wrong with that. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Just a really fun mod. Remind me a lot of the Fortnite Thanos Gauntlet. I just have to say, it's really cool. So I hope you guys enjoyed. Don't be afraid to check out some of Crosus's other mods. They're really fun, very entertaining, very immersive, and yeah, you can do lots of fun stuff with it. So if you enjoyed, be sure to give a like, comment, subscribe, and be sure to tell others about the Mischief if you think that they'll enjoy this kind of content too. And until next time, folks, I'll see ya.